We have some new information on our tropical depression 4. Now, this has not been named yet, but once it does become named, which will be later on today, it will be called Debby. And currently, the forecast still continues to take this out over the Florida Straits and into the Gulf of Mexico, spending plenty of time over these very warm waters and allowing it to strengthen, potentially up to a hurricane prior to landfall. Now, I know it doesn't show a hurricane symbol right here, but it's really just between the hour frames here that the National Hurricane Center does anticipate this to get up to about that 74-mile-per-hour threshold. The key thing, though, is that there is hurricane watches in place. Some of those winds could carry inland as tropical storm conditions. Also, we're going to be looking at that threat of tornadoes and heavy rainfall as well across much of the state of Florida. Here's where your warnings are at this time. Tropical storm warnings from the Florida Keys all the way out across the west coast into the Big Bend area. And here in the purple, that's where you do see those hurricane watches, which have been issued at this time, with warnings for tropical storm watches, that is, extending it back towards north all the way up to the Florida-Georgia border. No warnings or watches in place at this time for the first coast, but I wouldn't be surprised if those do shift towards the east as we go ahead over the course of the next few hours. Remember, a watch is meaning that it does anticipate those tropical storm strength conditions over the course of the next 48 hours. And we'll talk about that timing here in just a moment. Where is our storm system at this moment here, 11 a.m. on our Saturday? Well, passing just along the southern edge of Cuba, and that's been the big thing. I know originally some people were saying, that we expected this to move across South Florida and off towards the east, right? Well, the key thing was as that center pushed over the eastern half of Cuba, the mountains almost split it in half, forcing the storm to kind of wobble towards the south. And once we've seen that, it means it's kind of taking a wider turn off towards the north, giving it plenty more time over the Gulf of Mexico, pushing back our time frame here and also allowing it to intensify just a bit more. And you can see that here with our model outlook as it starts to tighten up prior to coming on shore around the Big Bend area. Got the dirty side of the storm, the right side of the storm, really just running up the Florida Peninsula. And within that, you could see these thunderstorms, but also some quick spin-up tornadoes. So overnight Sunday into Monday morning, really do want to be watching out for some tornado warnings. Make sure you have a way to be alerted just in case there is a warning in your neighborhood. And then you get that main storm, the main bands coming on shore through Monday morning into early afternoon. But here's the deal, though. Even heading Monday night into Tuesday morning, this starts to slow down just north of Jacksonville and almost continues to linger here. And you can see that here with our spaghetti models as this just comes off towards the Big Bend area. And then look right here, just this hot mess across southeastern Georgia. That is the models trying to resolve what is going to be setting up, and that is a blocking high pressure ridge just towards the north, which could cause this to slow down and almost stall out in this area as well, bringing in plenty of rain across Georgia over towards the Carolinas, and even inflow with scattered showers wrapping in behind us across parts of the first coast. And thus, still expect those showers to continue to linger around through through Tuesday heading into Wednesday on the back side of this. But we're likely going to get that name of this storm system, Debby, here later on our Saturday. Track does take it into the Big Bend area as a hurricane with those winds could be carried well inland, so expect even out towards the I-10 area, tropical storm strength conditions as well. All right, you might be curious, and you're thinking, I've seen this track before. Now, every storm is different. No storms are exactly alike. But just kind of noting, Elsa back in 2021, Idalia just last year, and then we're talking about, of course, the potential track for our soon-to-be-named Debby, all coming on shore right around the exact same area. So if you are trying to get a reference from previous storms based on our current forecast, kind of showing you what we're talking about here with just the last 3 years having several storms that almost had a very similar track. Of course, Idalia was much stronger. That's what that 3 is. That is Idalia. That is not our current forecast, but just kind of giving you an idea. So places like Live Oak over towards Lake City, kind of where you could be seeing some downed trees and things like that, maybe some power outages towards the west of Jacksonville. So rainfall is going to start to really pick up Sunday morning, but increase overnight, Sunday night into Monday morning with that heavy precipitation. Isolated tornado risks for sure in that forecast with localized flooding 4 to 7 inches across the first coast. That is specifically around the Jacksonville area and off towards the west. I want to stress that. With those winds that could be gusting up to tropical storm strength towards Columbia County, out towards Lake City here, west of Jacksonville. But yeah, you can see the rain totals over 5 inches based on this model outlook over the course of the next few days, with the heaviest being there through Monday morning into the afternoon as well. That's why we have weather impact alert day across the First Coast Sunday into Monday. But those showers will continue to linger through the upcoming week, just because that storm system looks like it very well could be stalling off towards the north. All right, let's break down county by county. Instead of the broader picture, we're going to zoom right in on where you live here in the Jacksonville area, with the worst being Monday afternoon through the evening. But still Sunday night, you're going to start to see things ramp up. I'm talking about the center of that circulation kind of passing just towards the west there into the Jacksonville area. Out towards the west, talking about Baker, Union, Bradford, Columbia County, you're going to be looking at that messy weather with those tropical storm strength conditions as well. And of course, the same theme as far as those tornadic thunderstorms that could be developing with those quick spin-ups. Where Charlton, Brantley County, so a little bit further towards the north, we're talking about Waycross back towards Blackshear. You could be looking at those winds continuing to kick off in your area, but also that rain is going to linger even heading into Tuesday over towards Wednesday, the further north you go as the storm system starts to slow down to that blocking high. Clay and Putnam, you're going to be missing out on the worst of it. I think it's going to be a little bit towards the west, but still, based on our current forecast, you continue to have that tornado threat and some scattered showers upwards about 5 inches as well. And then we look along the east coast. Those winds could be coming on shore with some decent rain bands in Glen, Camden, Nassau County with that tornado threat as well there for you. And to St. Johns and Flagler County, you're going to be furthest off towards the east, but still we got those rain bands that are going to be wrapping around, bringing in that potential for some stronger storms as well. So pretty much everybody will get in on the impacts here, but the further west you go along the I-10 corridor over towards I-75, around the Big Bend area is where you have that highest threat of some of those stronger storms. Once again, this will be called Debby. It's not quite there yet, but definitely we'll keep you posted once it is named and through that extended forecast as we continue to track this storm this weekend heading into next week. I'm meteorologist Robert Speta.